I'll tell you, one of the keys to getting anything done as far as work on your house is to have somebody that knows what they're talking about. We just spent a half hour here talking to my buddy Cyril, and he knows what he's talking about. Stay tuned for this. We're going to spend another half hour picking his brain. Stay tuned. Giddy up. Welcome back, everybody, to Your Little Castle Show. I have to mention this one for certain, but if you missed the first half-hour discussion I had with Cyril here, he is an expert and was blowing me away with numbers and data and just the whole method and all of the terms you need to know for getting a house fixed. When you've had a storm come through, or you need an upgrade because you've had a roof that's 30 years old or so, or maybe less because you didn't get one of the high-quality ones that they offer. He really knows his stuff. So I asked him to stick around here for another half an hour. We're going to talk a little bit more. I want to get into this. And I like to start off this show with one of my favorite questions, but that is, what is the biggest mistake people make when getting a roof repaired or a storm came through? What's the biggest mistake people make? I think we talked about that.
One of the biggest mistakes I've seen is just jumping to repairing it right away. Or maybe even try to do it themselves, or just finding somebody to repair it without actually having it fully inspected,
right,
by either myself or somebody else in the industry that they feel comfortable with. Because once they have started to alter that, let's say that roof was discontinued. They don't know that. Okay, they had an older roof, is discontinued. They're in Florissant somewhere, so one shingle is going to get them a whole entire brand new roof. And they won't even know that. So they think, well, just go ahead and patch this thing up and be done with it. Okay, patch it up and be done with it, but at some point, you're going to have to replace this roof. Now, Mother Nature just gave you a get out of jail free card.
Right, okay.
And then you threw it right back at them. and so, it's important to get that inspected and thoroughly inspected by somebody who knows. I mean, Storm Pro, we specialize in storms. I mean, so that's what we do. I mean, I do retail too, but I know my storm stuff, and I know the metrics of the shingles, the type of the shingles, and whether they're organic or not, that take a play into that situation, whether, it being non-repairable. For a 3-tab, that could be non-repairable.
Lots of data in this brain over here, Cyril's got. But tell me, though, how often people have a little bit of damage, they don't think it's enough, but there's definitely some damage. Mm-hmm. Then they don't get it repaired. Does the insurance company come back next time and say, no, that was from a previous storm, not covered?
I had a situation that it broke my heart. There were some, this was out towards Springfield, and they were told no. 3 different times there was no damage. Then it leaks. So they found me on Angie's List. I come out there, look at it. I said, well, you got hail damage up here. Why are we told no by 3 different other companies that called first? And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. File the claim. Insurance comes out. Yes, you do have hail damage, but you had a certain amount of time to file that claim from that storm. And now because you're outside of the parameters of it, we're not going to cover it. Now you can imagine how they felt. So depending on the insurance company, sometimes it's anywhere from 6 months to 2 years to get that claim filed once that storm is hit. And if you're outside those parameters, then you're on your own on that one.
You don't want to be on your own when it comes to getting a roof replaced. How did the other guys miss the hail damage? Were they just being, because I guess it's something, if you don't want to look at closely enough, maybe that was great.
Yeah, because I always play friendly, in the business. I always I've never had to talk bad about another company or anything like that. So I just say, hey, somehow it got missed, That's all I can say on that one. But shouldn't have got missed, but, maybe, it's like training. Maybe they had somebody out there that was new, that just didn't know, or,
Yeah, well, the shingles don't have to be falling off the roof to where they have to be replaced.
Right.
But how do you determine whether or not there's enough damage normally for a
it depends. I mean, if you got a straight gable roof, where there's one slope here, one slope there, then you pretty much can just look over. The insurance is looking for a test square, and that's 100 square feet area, 10 by 10. That they're going to look, and that's where they're going to try to assess their damage with the hail. Because if it hit in this section, it probably hit in this section, it hit all over. If it's wind related, then they're looking at, there's like kind of 3 different things that are wind related. I'll tell you this one. 1, the shingles are completely blown off. 2, the shingles are creased from where the wind has flapped it over.
Okay. Yeah.
And the 3rd one, which is not so common, a lot of people don't look for, if it's actually blown off the nail line. Now, what you also got to look at, though, with the nail line is that the previous roofers, did they nail it above the nail line or did they nail it on the nail line? Because that also brings that into play, too. When you go look it up and you present that to the insurance, they come out, well, that was improperly installed, so that's the reason why I did blow off the nail line. A lot of times it's not covered, but sometimes insurance companies will, say, hey, it happened, and they'll cover it, But those are different ways to look at whether you got wind damage or not. So you might look at the roof and say, I don't see anything flapping up there. I don't see it. May be some zippering already started that you don't know about. And all these storms are recorded by the insurance company, National Weather Database. They keep track of this stuff. So whether you knew about it or not, or you, like you said, you were in Florida one time, that tornado hit and you're out of town, you may not even know if the neighbors don't tell you. Time goes by. 2.5 years later, now that zippering is turned into a full-blown, the seal is gone, and now it's starting to leak. And there's no storm data for you.
So back to it's worth getting this examined.
Just get it examined. I mean, it's not going to cost you anything to have somebody come out there, take a look at it. We come out, we don't charge. We'll come out, take a look at it. Hey, thank you for the opportunity. There's no damage. Hey, you've got 10 more years on this roof. Or no, you know what? We need to, file a claim, and I'll be here and meet with the adjuster and go over that. Our name's going to be out there, so we're not going to. You got to give the insurance company our name and our information. We're out of Clayton, so I mean, it's. If it's legitimate, it's going to be legitimate, and we're going to fight it tooth and nail.
You want to have an expert there to handle all this stuff too. Obviously, when somebody's going through this process, is the claims process something that the average person can go through, or there's a need for having an expert there?
I think there's a need for having an expert on that for a simple fact of there's so many things that go in there. One of the big things I do see though that kind of gives room for chucking a truck. Let's say the claim was $30,000. Insurance gives them $10,000 up front. Their deductible is $5,000. So the ACV, actual cash value, they're going to get a $15,000 check. But there's going to be another $10 in depreciation held back. So then the homeowner looks at this and is like, man, that roof is $30,000. I only got $15,000. So I got to figure out how to get this thing done for that amount. And that can be overwhelming when they're not realizing that depreciation is going to be recovered once we, put the roof on. Not to mention any supplements. Let's say they missed ice and water shield, but now you have ice and water shield or drip edge. And so once that's installed, the photos are taken. We have the evidence to submit to the insurance company to say, hey, this was put on the house or this was on the house when it was multiple layers. There's another one, multiple layers. You may have 2 layers on it, and you can't repair 2 layers without fully tearing the roof off. So that's another issue that, gets into that you may not know. You may just have a little hail damage here, but you got 2 layers. Or a tree came through. Here's a projectile from a tree limb, falls down on the roof, hits the shingle, puts a hole in there. That's storm-related damage. You think, oh, it's just a tree that fell. Now you've got 2 layers on this roof. Tree limb has come down, poked in through the shingles. 9 times out of 10, you get a new roof just off of that.
Again, back to you must have the experts out there that know what they're talking about, because I can imagine so many people, they don't even know how to recognize it.
You're not going to see. It's funny, too, and I'll knock on the door, and a guy say, well, I looked at it, I don't see no hail damage up there. And they're like, okay, how'd you look at it? Well, I have my binoculars down from the ground. Okay, what were you looking at? Well, explain it to me. What is it? Did you see the impact? Like when the hail comes, it makes an impact. Sometimes it pushes the granules in there, so the granules have not been washed out or anything. There's not been enough rain to wash it out where you can tell. Or you have to feel the impact, you know what I'm saying? And these are things that you can't see from the ground. You're going to have somebody get up there and look at it.
Even a drone in that instance,
they
can help.
Well, there's stuff where it's like if you get like the big stuff we had like in Wentzville and Arnold and some of that stuff in O'Fallon, we had golf ball size. I mean, that stuff, yes, you can see. But when you get to like 1.25 inches, Hague says, I do believe it's 1 inch that they determine, the insurance goes up Hague, that up to 1 inch can cause damage. Okay, that you're not going to necessarily see with a drone. Anywhere from like 1.5 inches to 2 inches, 3 inches, yeah, you can spot that one from the ground. But a 22 can hurt you just as well as a 12 gauge. And you got to think about that on your roof. It may not got a 12 gauge that blew a hole in the roof, but you may got a bunch of 22s up there. It's still going to cause a problem.
Yeah, cumulatively they add up, and then you've got granule loss, and then when you start losing granules, there's the potential for their damage
on there, yeah, and the shingles doesn't hold up well. UV rays from the sun. What gets it with the hail damage is that the UV rays from the sun constantly penetrate on that impact that was hit. Okay, then you got winter and summer where it expands, it contracts, expands, it contracts. Well, that's already been compromised, and that part tears. And now water finds path least resistant, and it comes into the home. And that's the reason why the insurance company will replace the home based off of that, because maybe you had 10 years left, now you only got 3.
Makes a big difference in the life of a roof, especially when you come in there with a roof you guys put on 25 or 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
And something they will not have to deal with
anytime
soon.
Anytime soon. Insurance going to love you for that one.
Your insurance rate could go down.
Could, most definitely.
That's a good way to make a happy insurance company. We're looking out for the benefit of everybody there. Tell me, though, residential or commercial, a little bit of both?
A little bit of both.
What do you do?
I mean, we mainly residential, but we'll do some commercial too, Don't shy away from don't shy away from any work, any relationship that's tied to that situation. Now, if it's something, I mean, I've done all of it, flat, commercial, all of it, so we can cover it all. I don't do let's say like sky rises or something like that. No, I don't know anything about that. So I'm the wrong guy on that one. We got one of these days if somebody ropes and educates me into that situation, then we'll be back here talking about that. But I don't know anything else.
Well, there's plenty to go around with commercial and with your traditional 3-tab roof.
3-tab, architectural, flat roof, your pillow stick, torch down, TPOs. Yeah, we got you covered there.
Okay, and TPO, that's that flat roof.
That's the flat.
That's the ones that a lot of people you see on a lot of your businesses. Some of your apartment complexes and other places like that have big air conditioners on the roof. They see.
Oh yeah, you got to call the HVAC people to come remove that stuff.
Experts from all different.
You got to have experts from all different angles.
That's what you talk about. You're more of a general contractor.
I'm kind of more of a I work
with those people.
Yeah, I mean, no, man, we do interior work. I mean, I've worked from floods. I mean, from fires. So GC. If it gets into something where it's not my particular expertise, me and the homeowner sit down and talk about it, and then we'll sub that out and bring them in, and we kind of work that together, me and the homeowner, and then we just GC it, let the insurance company know, hey, for this particular job, we brought this company in to do that, submit their sub invoice to them, and I mean it's pretty, they get a warranty, so it's good. Help. I mean, most of these people are professional people that are working. They've got busy lives. The last thing they have time to do is now stop their life and now have to tend to all of this. We keep that going. I have homeowners that say, hey, Cyril, man, I got to go out of town. Here's the keys to my house. Here's the code to get in. That's the type of trust I get. And that I take very much serious. And I love that, to be able to receive that type of trust. And I get that trust across the nation. And so that's something else that I also bring in, because now you can relax. You ain't got to stress no more.
These are stressful situations, and something that you definitely want to have somebody. You talk about what are some of the major metro cities? St. Louis is a hub.
St. Louis is a hub. Ladue, Florissant, Wentzville, O'Fallon, Arnold. St. Peter, St. Charles.
What do you like about the
Rolla? I'll be starting getting starting heading back. What do I like about St. Louis?
Yeah,
this is where I all started. St. Louis broke me in. This is where I learned what I did, and then I started, taking it across the nation. Very kind to me. They took me in Florissant, Ladue, Chesterfield, Wildwood, and, my rookie year, I'm a rookie. I mean, my training was they pulled up in a truck, gave us some cards, go sell some roofs. Sell roofs, I don't know what I'm doing.
Knock on some doors.
Knock on some doors. Homeowners kind of knew that. Then they start teaching me. And I mean, I had to learn from the insurance companies, because at the time we was too busy in the office, and so I felt like I wasn't getting the training I should have got. So I started talking to I remember giving the homeowner the wrong information, and I felt bad about that. And so I never wanted to do that again. And so I started talking to the adjusters. I was like, look, well, they're the ones that control the money. What are you guys actually looking for? Train me on this. And so the adjusters trained me on what. And so I soak up. I'm a student of the game in anything I do, constantly. My pastor used to always say, Cyril, keep a teachable spirit no matter how old you get.
Write that one down, everybody. Keep a teachable spirit
no matter how old you get.
Something that we always want to enthuse in people. Stay young, stay mentally at least, so you can continue to learn and improve. And we talk about the way you succeed on this little plan is always improving.
Always improving, because the game's changing. I mean, and it's even I use ring shank nails. I'm gonna give one of my secrets away. Ring shank nails are they're like screws. Okay, screws don't work their way out of the wood. Okay, we use 6 nails per shingle, but we use the ring shank nails, and so when they go in, they're not coming out. The homeowners don't get the nail pops, because once a nail pops through the shingle, now it starts to work the seal loose, and over time, and so that could be an issue depending on how it was installed. And so I don't even really, actually I don't charge the homeowners any upgrade for that. I mean, it did cost substantially a little bit more, but I look at it as, you know, I'm putting that back into their home. They're giving me referrals. So it's kind of a win-win situation. You don't need to be greedy, you know what I'm saying? It's just like you're going to, you know, God's going to look out for you. You're going to make money. So you just have to look out for everybody else.
Do a little bit extra, everybody. Excellence is achieved by doing a little bit more. I think that a quote from my dad. Sounds like that's right up your alley with what you're talking about there.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for more, everybody. We're going to show you some more of the fun in our community. A golf tournament for helping those who served in our military suffering from PTSD. But enjoy this little interview we had here. Will Bates, everybody. Will Be Inspired. Tell me about the event you got going on here.
Oh, we got a golf tournament today. Got some people coming out to support our military veterans and first responders. Everything that we raise today goes towards benefiting them, mental and physical health, overall wellness, wellness retreats, outdoor retreats, gym memberships. You think of it, you name it. That's what we do. So this is all to benefit them. I appreciate everybody coming out and taking action. Thank you.
We're at Old Hickory Golf Course. Been here for a number of events. Great crowd here.
Yeah.
How many people turned out for this thing so far?
There'll be at least 170 people here.
170 golfers, everybody. All right, if they need the Cardinal Cowboy to give out some free golf lessons, I might be doing that later. Don't wait for that. Don't wait for that.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
All right, man. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Get up. We'll see you guys. Get up.
His name is Carter Rethwich, but in St. Louis, he's known as the Cardinal Cowboy. He's a well-known fixture in the stands at sporting events in the Gateway City. He's one of its greatest cheerleaders, a super fan like no other. When he makes his rounds at almost every home game, he shares his love for sports with the rest of fandom with a smile, a cheer, some positive encouragement, and lots and lots of selfies and pics. But the Cardinal Cowboy was born of a tragic incident. Rethwich was an aspiring athlete in high school and college. He dreamed of playing in the big leagues, but those dreams ended when he and 3 of his college friends were hit with a devastating crash by a 5-time drunk driver. One of his best friends died. Carter suffered a critical head injury. The trauma put him in a coma for 6 days. The doctors said he was never expected to function again. Those expectations never came true. He fought back and finished college. He was determined to prove the doctors wrong. Among other inspirations, it was his love of baseball that kept him going. And from his near-death experience, the Cardinal Cowboy emerged. His goal in life became to inspire others with positivity despite the odds, to help people believe in themselves and achieve their dreams.
So after my coma, I realized that it was up to me if I was going to accomplish my goals, if I was going to reach my dreams. Despite what the naysayers would say, the people that were discouraging me, like they do everyone, it's up to me if I'm going to make it. Don't listen to the naysayers. It's up to you. You decide whether you're going to succeed, whether you're going to reach your goals. Dream, and then always, always chase your dreams. Never give up. Giddy up. Hey, we're looking for the small business owners and leaders in our community to be on our show. This is the Your Little Castle Show. We air 3 times a week, every week on ABC, and we would like to put somebody you know, or maybe it's you, who's a business owner to be on our show. You'll sit right here in our guest chair, right here, sitting here talking to us. We're going to put on the wall your website and everything about you and highlight you as a leader. Fill out the form you see here on our website. It's bigleagues.com, and if you go to bigleagues.com, fill out this form. It takes just a couple seconds, and you can even schedule yourself right here. Schedule yourself to be on the show, and there is no charge for us to record you. There's no charge to be in the studio. Check it out if you would like to be on. Fill out the form again, bigleagues.com. This is where we can turn any interview into a series of clips. Check that out. Go to bigleagues.com. So there we have it, everybody. And media has obviously makes the world go around. But check that out. This is our book. It's called Magnetized Media. Yours truly wrote that intro we talked about. But boy, if media hasn't changed the way we do things, Cyril, you've seen this. You obviously took the time to get a great looking website. You've got a lot of social media, getting your reviews. how has the technology in the world changed, especially with drones and all the other
Oh, my
ways
goodness.
you manage and run your business?
You know, it makes it easier. It presents challenges as well as it being good. AI is crazy.
Right, yeah.
You know what I like about, it's like I'm one of those big, we're like creating our own Terminator, but, it's going to take us over percent. I'm like, what's going to happen? We just never leave the house. The AI just does everything. I mean, but anyway, I'll get on that. We're here.
Well, and I guess there's still going to be some need for
There's still a need for the robot
guys.
I see that they had a robot. They had an AI robot that's supposed to be able to go there and do the roofing. I was like, hey, come on, they're going to take everybody's jobs? I was like, what are we going to do?
Well, for the time being, we still need roofing experts.
We still need roofing experts. You get information I do like about AI. You can pick his brain real quick about something. It'll kind of generate some things and stuff like that and put things together at a reach real quick, and I think, especially like with what you're doing and helping businesses out, it helps helps people's jobs a little easier when they're going to talk to homeowners and stuff like that, because it's all about trust, I'm a big component of not, we shouldn't fear everything, but Anthony taught me a long time ago, he said life breaks down to two different things, fear and greed, and so you have to just kind of navigate through those two things, and I think this helps with the fear factor.
Yeah,
and it gives people that good, warm and fuzzy feeling, and especially what you're doing. And you can't even thank you enough for people like have a platform like that to give us an opportunity to go out here and talk to the community so they can understand. Okay, yeah, because here's the deal: they get this fly-by-night that gets them. Now there's a bad situation. I've gone by and had to fix stuff for people that got screwed over from a fly-by-night company come over and got them and gone, and now they're stuck. I had an old lady one time, she didn't have the money, we helped her out on that. She gave a deposit, already paid these people, and now she's stuck. And it's like, okay, you know what? Here's the deal. This ain't even about money right now. It's about doing the right thing for this lady, and that's a good,
Well, it comes back around. The more people you help, I was fortunate.
Yeah.
I was guided by parents who were both in education to help other people. When you do that,
you have to.
Seem to work out for you.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, you have to.
Well, that takes care of that question. Tell me a time. But what's one of the biggest challenges you've been through as a business owner that made you stronger, but you're like, well, I didn't really see that coming, and it might have thrown you off for a minute, but it made you stronger?
I was, where I got this tagline, local to Missouri, and here's what I like to talk about, because I won't say the town I was in, but they were just really reaming me, and I probably was only like 30 minutes away from commuting back and forth, and they're like, you're not local. I'm like, I'm just 30 minutes away. Like, where do you commute to go to work? Well, I commute. Oh, you commute to the town I live. You're not local. Why you can't work in our jobs over here? I mean, it infuriated me to the point. I'm like, okay, you know what? We don't discriminate against Missourians. We are local to Missouri. But here's the deal. Not to put anybody down, but just be real about it. We're nationwide. I've got a local base here, and we deal with the insurance nationwide. Your insurance company just ain't local per se to they only write policies in this town and nowhere else. You know what I'm saying? They're writing all over the nation. I deal with them all over the nation. I can see the trends coming. I see things that, and understand things on a larger scale sometimes. And that knowledge is right there at your fingertips, right here, home base.
Well said. And you want to have somebody has those connections, those roots, and has been there. So you say local to Missouri.
Local to Missouri.
Or so if you're out in the perimeter there, you could say welcome to Missouri.
Missouri.
But either way,
we're local to Missouri. My pastor's from Missouri. Kenneth, Missouri.
There you go.
I grew up with that type of preaching.
That's good stuff. But people understand. If you're from Missouri, you know what we're talking about. Yeah. And we're here to connect people to the right people. Tell me the process then. By now, people are looking at me going, all right, Carter, Cyril really knows what he's talking about. What's the process for somebody to get started with you?
If you call me, we got tech people and phone people. So you pick up the phone. There's numbers I do believe up there. The 417 reaches me. 314 gets a hold of Bob. Live people, you talk to us. Schedule a time for us to come out. We'll set a time. Come take a look at the roof, assess the property, look at it, say, hey, you're in good shape. Or, you know what? Probably need to file a claim. Or go online.
Yeah. Look at the website here. You can see,
and fill out
this form right here.
Or office assistant, Jamie will get a hold of you, or reach out to you, schedule a time, or set it up through there. Well, either way, online or on the phone, I'm 24 hours. Office, they kind of typically work Monday through Friday, but you can reach me 24 hours, Saturday, Sunday, emergencies. I have tarp roofs at 2 o'clock in the morning. So it is what it is. You have to, I mean, imagine, something coming on there and it's just like it's pouring in, you need some help. Hey, I've been out there, and it's what I do. So
Cyril's very serious about his job. If there's a storm coming through, they got that emergency number you can call
Call
2
me
o'clock in the morning.
yeah.
Bringing a tarp out to cover things up because
yeah.
that's when things get very exciting, let's say. And you got water pouring in the house.
Yeah, cold.
And that's
And grandma might be freaking out.
Well, tell me, what's the biggest question people have for you? Now they've got some damage to their home. What's
it going to cost me?
Okay. Is that
What's my out-of-pocket expense?
Okay.
Like Bob always says, your exposure is your deductible. And that's pretty much what it's going to cost you.
So yeah, if you've got something that's going to be covered by insurance, go through that process.
Go through that process, yeah.
And you'll help walk them through that. But to have the only real outlay they might have is that cost for the deductible. And deductibles range. Sometimes they're percentage, but often
sometimes percentage, but often they $500 to $1,500. I mean, that process is done between them and their agent and stuff like that. So I'm not involved in what type of policy. There's different policies, and you probably need to understand, they're starting to get into legal terms on that stuff. But that stuff is set between them and their insurance licensed person that sells that. But whatever they establish between their insurance, that's what they, that's their only exposure and coverage that they have. Insurance is doing the rest on that.
And you'll take it from there.
And if the damage is not there, I'm not going to have you file a claim just to be filing a claim. You know what I'm saying? I don't want my name getting red line with the insurance. Oh, Storm Pros just files any type of claims. No, we ain't doing that.
Okay, so they keep track of that stuff.
They keep track of that stuff big time. So yeah, I would tell you, I've had a good feeling because I've seen some adjusters out there, and they'll be like, "Oh, Cyril, yeah, we knew there was some damage on that roof." You don't be filing bogus claims. So there's legit. But here's the deal: we stay in the area where the storm hits. You know what I'm saying? So that's where it is. I mean, you don't know in Missouri where a storm is actually going to affect somebody. But we got access to reach all over the entire state. So.
Well, experts like we got here. Tell me that ultimately, what about this? What gives you the most satisfaction about what you get to do here?
At the end of the day, if I had one that was very skeptical about the situation, and then they're smiling at the end of the project, like, Cyril, I told you.
Yeah, it's got to feel good when you see a family go through it's a very distressing, disheartening situation. Having a house that's been blown apart, and now they have to have somebody they can trust to come in here.
Come in there, yeah. Or they weren't expecting to get wet. So one lady, just here recently, we're just now finishing it up. She only had a few shingles blown off. She didn't even know that she could file hail. So we called in, got everything straight. It was a wind and hail claim. Got her all new siding, whole new roof, all windows in the back, gutters. Oh, she was like, "Oh my God, I didn't know I was gonna get all that." So I think she had her claim when we originally got it was like $8,000 or something. We're at $50,000 now. Didn't even know she could get that.
This is why you hire the experts, everybody. People that have done this for many years and are big leaders in the community, taking care of those who take care of everybody else. So look up Storm Pros. Cyril right here really knows what he's talking about and is a leader doing this for a long time. 15 years
Yes,
we talked
sir.
about. Knows what he's talking about. Stay tuned. You're watching the Your Little Castle Show. Giddy up.